For us 80s and 90s kids, TV was relatively limited in terms of technology and content. There was only a handful of channels to choose from, people only stared at their phones when anxiously expecting a call, and nobody batted an eye when Mr. Rogers said boys could never be girls.
Boys are boys from the beginning. If you were born a boy, you stay a boy. Girls are girls right from the start. If you were born a girl, you stay a girl and grow up to be a lady.
But CoComelon, perhaps the most popular and most profitable children's show of all time, has become one of the most controversial. While some say critics of the program are just being uptight, perhaps the key to understanding the argument is within the show's evolution. Where did it come from? What did its creators intend? And is it really turning our kids into mindless NPCs? Thanks for joining us for this week's release here at NPC Overwriter, where we challenge mainstream source code to develop independent thought, one user story at a time. Let's log into TomTom, JJ, and Cody's environment and see what's making the wheels on this controversy go round and round. Parental inventions such as the Wubbanub, a stuffed animal with a detachable pacifier, the Snooze Shade, a fully enclosed stroller, and the Veer Cruiser, a children's utility cart, were designed not by suits in ivory towers, but by parents in the field. But John Gion had a unique idea when he and his wife began creating short 2D animations in 2005 to entertain their two children. In 2006, they launched their YouTube channel ABC Kid TV to share their creation with kids worldwide.
Let's go over the alphabet one more time. A, B, C, D, E.
Eventually, as the views, likes, and shares increased, the ad revenue reached a point that allowed the couple to quit their jobs and focus on production full-time. In 2013, the Gions began re-releasing 3D modified versions of older clips where we saw the early representations of the TomTom, JJ, and Bingo designs that we see today. After a few years, the team needed a shorter and catchier name, something that kids could remember and easily pronounce. They settled on CoComelon. As success persisted, Moonbug Entertainment, a British content firm, acquired Gion's company, Treasure Studio, for an undisclosed amount. In 2021, Candle Media, founded by two former Disney executives, purchased Moonbug with backing from Blackstone, not BlackRock, a New York private equity firm that owns everything from Bumble, the popular dating app, to Hilton Hotels, to the Area Resort in Las Vegas. By 2022, CoComelon aired regularly on Netflix and dominated the YouTube kids scene with 186 million subscribers and over 192 billion views. These numbers estimated the production's worth at about $460 million at the time. But despite the popularity and success, many believe there's something sinister lurking beneath the surface. Parents know CoComelon is a great way to keep the kids quiet when you need to get stuff done. But does it work a little too well? Parents worldwide have cited cases of the catchy sing-alongs seemingly hypnotizing their children and then going crazy when they hear the opening music. When it's time to turn off the TV or take away the tablet, the house turns into an episode of A&E's Intervention. And the reason for this might lie in big data. Back in the pre-streaming days, TV producers collected feedback from focus group and Nielsen boxes, which were small devices that volunteers, known as Nielsen families, installed in their homes to report viewer data. With this limited audience information, creators sought to balance entertainment and education to keep parents and kids happy. But in the streaming era, feedback appears instantly on creator dashboards, not from select families, but from all viewers via likes, shares, subscriptions, and views. They know not only which episodes are the most popular, but which parts of each episode kids find most interesting. With so much information, analysts can maximize profits by manipulating viewer behavior. Moonbug still uses focus groups and in-person interviews to gain feedback, but they take it a step further with something called a distractatron. Here's how it works. Participants, kids in this case, watch an episode like they normally would, but next to the main monitor sits a secondary screen playing mundane footage such as somebody watering the lawn or getting their hair cut. When a child glances at the distractatron, an analyst makes a note. To reduce these wandering eyeballs, they increase rapid scene cutting, a film editing technique typically designed to depict chaos, anxiety, or a sense of urgency. Here's a great example of it from the 2000 film Requiem for a Dream. These quick visual shifts release dopamine, making it difficult for kids to turn away. Let's compare cuts between CoComelon and a much more chilled out program called Puffin' Rock. 1 1000, 2 1000, 1 1000, 2 1000, 3 1000, 4 1000, 5 1000, 6 1000, 7 1000, 8 1000, 9 1000, 1 1000, 2 1000, 3 1000, 4 1000, 5 1000, 6 1000, 7 1000, 8 1000, 1000, 2 1000, 3 1000, 4 1000, 1 1000, 2 1000, 1 1000, 2 1 1000, 2 1 1000, 2 1 1000, 2 1 1000, 2 1 1000, 2 1 1000, 2 1000, 3 1000, 4 1000, 2 1000, 3 1000, 4 1000. Color scheme also plays a role. By maximizing color saturation levels with reds, greens, and yellows, it makes each scene more appealing to the eye. App and web developers do something similar for alerts and notifications. The sing-alongs also contribute to the mesmerization. While word repetition might be good for recognition, the rhythm helps hold the viewer's attention. Finally, one might assume that subtitles are there to help the kids learn to read, but the show is designed for kids 1 to 3 years old, and the average child doesn't learn to read until 6 or 7. The bouncing letters and numbers are nothing but another moving object to retain focus. Addictiveness aside, parents today also have concerns with the politics that appear in CoComelon scripts. TomTom and friends found themselves in hot water in 2023 after releasing the Just Be You episode featuring a male toddler dancing in a tutu for a gay interracial couple. Again, this show is for 1 to 3-year-olds. Moms and dads worldwide clearly didn't approve, with many claiming to have canceled their Netflix accounts and outright banning the show from their households. I'm one of them. But they apparently took it down and re-uploaded it, as the video now shows as released in June of 2024, but the questionable scene remains, as do the 17,000 dislikes. I also didn't care for the creators constantly portraying the white dad as the effeminate, hapless husband. I've got a whole video on the idiot dad trope in media if you're interested. I'll leave a link in the release notes. Aside from that, I think the general wokeness is a turnoff with spin-offs like It's Cody Time and Nina's Familia. It's not that I only want to see white people, it's just that I don't think these producers include, quote, progressive content because they believe in diversity. They just know they must follow the political agenda if they want to stay in the good graces of the powers that be. So how does CoComelon's evolution explain the program's controversy? I think it's clear the farther JJ and the gang drifted from their initial intentions and creators, the worse it became for viewers' mental health. I'm happy for the Ji-on's success as it illustrates the American dream. After legally immigrating from North Korea and claiming asylum in the US, they started a business and became wildly successful. This explains why there's hardly any public information about them. I've got a video on the NPC factory that's North Korea as well. But as those in control became more faceless and global, CoComelon became less about wholesome education entertainment and more about making as much money as possible, regardless of the consequences. For many kids, those consequences include delayed speech and behavioral issues. By breaking program engagement down to a science, they removed the storylines and messages that shows I grew up on portrayed. The show has been reduced to bright colors, repetition, and rapid movement. The whole thing is straight out of Black Mirror. Sure, billion-dollar companies pretty much own all children's content, but everything is relative. Cartoon Saloon, Dog Ears Media, and Penguin Random House co-own Puffin' Rock, collectively worth about $5 billion. 9 Story Media Group owns Daniel Tiger's Neighborhood, worth about $71 million, and Mattel Television owns Fireman Sam, clocking about $6 billion. Blackstone, CoComelon's current parent company, is worth exponentially more than all those brands combined at $138 billion, roughly the equivalent of Hungary's GDP. I don't know if there is a financial line, but there's certainly a moral one, and many of us feel CoComelon and its World Economic Forum associated owners crossed it. When we say CoComelon is brainwashing our kids, we don't mean in the AC/DC spinning records backwards kind of way. They're just pulling levers to maximize profits, and if your kids happen to end up with behavioral or learning issues as a consequence, they won't lose any sleep. CoComelon's sing-alongs might offer silence in the present, but just be aware that even though it might be free to watch, it might cost your kid dearly. Well, that's going to do it for this week's version of NPC Overrider. I'm your lead engineer, Greg. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this week's video, please set the like button to true. If you want to help save the NPCs, share this with a friend or consider subscribing. We'd sure love to have you on our development team. You have an idea for a future deployment? Open a ticket in the comments section. I'll get back with you ASAP. But for now, we're going to shut down the office and grab a beer. Thanks again. We'll see you on the next release.